CMG have done recently.
It absolutely is, but here we're jumping in to the grand finals match. Listen, 76% of the fans are going with CMG. I'll be a little spicy here. Chazmac Gaming are those guys. I'm predicting a clean sweep. I'll see you soon after the finals.
I respect it. I mean, I think all three of us are clearly on the CMG side ready, and I think rightfully so. I think they've more than earned being the favorites in this spot, especially considering what they've done recently. 2 monthly grand finals wins in a row, and now they're taking on a foe that's already beaten them once this year. I'm sure Chazmac Gaming wants this badly, but this is a desperation kind of play for Remaining 7, who are third on the leaderboard right now. This is the second to last grand finals we have. They need a win here.
I'll tell you what, I think Remaining 7, if I'm Remaining 7, I'm not scrimming any of the maps versus Peaky Penguins. That's because they got to put all of their chips in to deal with Chazmac Gaming NA, who had to scrim maps versus Tribe Gaming, number 2 in the region. So I think it's a much harder bracket for Chazmac Gaming NA, right? All respect due. I think Remaining 7 have had some more time, some more points that they can invest into this final match. So we'll see if and how that preparation pays off. So far, with the draft developing, Maisie already being selected on the opposing side. I love the Maisie brawler. She can charge up that super fast, and she's effective for dealing with tanks. I think it's wise for them to take that out of Chazmac Gaming's playbook. Still plenty of other things that Chazmac could decide to go with, but since Remaining 7 do have the last pick, it affords them the possibility of a tank for number 6.
The Macy's an interesting one. I had a conversation about this with Ark a little bit earlier. I've had mixed reviews from pro players that I've talked to. In general, she's certainly in a stronger spot. And I think one thing I pointed out to Ark earlier is even though her win rate hasn't necessarily shown through, very small sample size. And also, I think out of all game modes, Brawl Ball makes the most sense for opportunities to score. The bounce back that her super can bring, I think is really valuable. If you play her right, I think it can go your way. But El Primo, good old fun brawler, one that I think's really shown through more recently in the meta, especially in regions like EMEA where his play rate is very high. I'm excited for the CMG side.
This is what I always say, he's a tank that kills tanks, and also with crash landing right on top of Maisie, he'll be able to basically nullify that super. It takes a moment for that super to charge up before it takes full effect, and I think that Fade or RBM, whoever really ends up playing that Primo, will be able to take things down. Ashe, theoretically, a brawler that can take down the Primo as long as you stay at appropriate range. It's going to have to be pretty surgical gameplay. If anyone's cut out for it, it's going to be Killer. So really, who wins? Killer, the Ashe main, or Primo just being Primo?
Surgical is a great word for that, because if Primo is jumping in, if he's fist pumping against the Ashe, very difficult for Ashe. But again, Ashe has the extra distance. It may be tiny, but those little interactions go much further in a professional setting. Overall, we see a Maisie, we see a Squeak, we see an Ashe. I think Maisie is somebody that people aren't going to be used to seeing, but I think I can see where they're coming from. Do love the selection of at least Zeus's Squeak for the ability to cut off the map, especially when there's no real wall break threat outside of El Primo here. I think it's going to pave the way for Remaining 7 to kind of get a hot start here. Killer with the ball in hand, Fade, Toast, RBM, trying to branch out a little bit. Killer going to dump this off for now. He's just hugging this wall, not moving. Now Primo slowly going to be charging that super. Dive in from Toast, and now possibly a breakaway here. They need to be careful. Sprinting back, RBM now diving forward as well. It's going to bounce Zeus away long enough, I think, where Toast is just going to have a wide open bucket. Goodness, what a way to start for CMG.
Of all moments, you'd want to have that second Squeak star power. That's one of them. He landed one of those super shots on a Toast in the Bonnie form, but didn't slow him down. He's running the one that gives him more damage. One of the ones that has propelled Squeak to the forefront of the meta right now. Good response from Luffy on the backside and a takedown to RBM. It's all up to Toast and Fade now to play defense. Toast has a whole lot of health to work with, and he's got to be close to that super. Just a couple more shots. Here's the bump away from Luffy. 1-2 super cycled. RBM has a super and a gadget in hand. Makes him a great defender, but an excellent response. Both Luffy and Killer chiming in to take him down without a single scratch on themselves. Remaining 7 now, fully tied up versus Chazmac.
Really great plays and a big response there. Toast, though, looking for one of his own to dive in from RBM as well. Two brawlers flying through the skies now. Fade, ball in hand. RBM charging forward. Low HP. Zeus drops the super. No connection there. Easy walk in for
the Ashe to deal with now, but they did manage to get one goal off, and we saw some good teamwork leading to that goal from Remaining 7, so they can probably do it again. Luffy also managed to get some super cycled out, but Killer's in very close quarters with RBM. RBM likely close to the super when he respawns. Zeus also so pass over to the left side. Great avoidance there from Killer. The Rats come down 2, and RBM has that super fully charged up. Remaining 7 can get some damage on him, but it's almost unlikely that they eliminate him when he has that super damage.
Bouncing from RBM, make it 2. Easy pickup there onto Killer. Low HP though, 1 shot from Luffy could put him away for now. Both sides, remaining 7, no HP. Fade slowly dwindling the HP of Squeak, and now RBM, very aggressive footing here. Just gonna take this ball in his hand, and with 9,000 HP, gonna be looking for an opportunity to walk it forward. Stand still for now. Contention at this midfield marker as both sides are just looking to get an inch forward. No opportunity here unless some kills go down.
RBM really encroaching on Killer's territory on the left side. Zeus also trying to zone things out. Toast has that super in. Once someone gets low, Zeus and Luffy are the prime targets. Killer can also be taken down with the jump. Fade also has that jump at the ready. Just gonna get some easy chip shots off for now. A little slowing action towards mid gives Luffy a good opportunity. Jump in from RBM, a little suplex supplement there too. A jump in from Toast, and it's a double elimination. RBM and Toast still remain alive, and Zeus manages to push this ball back, but RBM looks like he has the kill shot. He's able to break open the wall. Doesn't even need to use it though, preserves it for the next pitch. An easy walk in, and a goal on the board for Chazmak.
Wonderfully played. Fade actually going to exhaust a super there just to get across the wall. Looking to get in a more aggressive stance and have to back away immediately, but RBM certainly going to make work for it from the other side. 2 brawlers now standing on each end. A big takedown there. A Squeak super only connecting 1 time. A regular shot as well. RBM 2200. Killer forced to play defense. Now RBM charging forward. Gets a shot through. RBM with the goal. And Chazmak Gaming takes set number 1.
Well, the elbow drop of Justice comes down. RBM, what a menace on that El Primo. Just can't seem to be beaten. I'm realizing why it's so popular.
He's going through. They keep in mind what brawler is everybody's best at, and I think that ultimately has allowed them to just excel. Over on Dueling Beetles, seems like they're going to be going with the same 3 that they've run all day. Somebody I'm keeping my eye out for though, Cordelius. He's been a man to talk about this weekend, especially when you take people into the Shadow Realm. Very scary proposition there. This is a map that's not necessarily long range in the mid, so it could be a little bit better for him. But of course, he's just going to get hit with the ban.
Yeah, and even, well, of course, Chazmak Gaming, very wise of them to ban this against the team with the first pick. Remaining 7 not going to get the last pick for once. They'll go with B as their primary selection. That's going to nullify a lot of some of the strong brawlers that Chazmak can go with as their last pick. Bell, I think, an appropriate response from Chazmak. They're going to be able to work around the B. It's just going to be tough. She sort of controls a lot of the meta here in NA. Obviously, Poco not going to be as strong of a consideration now since he gets sort of hard countered by B. But as long as Chazmak decide they're going to play the range game, but also do a good job of countering out those tanks, I think they're setting themselves up for success.
Curious to see what approach they take here. Crow's somebody that normally in this map I get very enthusiastic about seeing, but the only brawler I see on the other side right now is B, and I think B can actually deal with Crow pretty well. You know, the amount of damage that B can deal, being a sharpshooter, typically Crow doesn't have as easy of a time to that, but they could very well have other brawlers that Crow goes into. So I think that's a brawler that does well for Hot Zone. It's one I'm going to be patient on, see if they can find some matchups, but something like a Spike here could do well into Crow. I'm curious to see if we end up seeing a Barley here from either side. It's somebody that I've seen surge more and more on this map, especially if there's no wall break option. I think Barley can be a very scary choice here. Stu makes me a little nervous to go that route if you're Chazmak Gaming, but again, it's somebody that can kind of hide behind those indestructible walls, lob up shots in the D, and single shot brawlers just can't do well in the Barley. So kind of keeping my eyes out for that route.
Yeah, he will be able to break down some of those walls, so it won't be as large of a consideration for Chazmak. I spoke about the Poco earlier, and I think Chazmak, since that remaining 7, could have gone for that. So they go with the Crow selection. Fade also is a phenomenal Crow, so why not? But also prevent that Poco from going to the side of remaining 7. Final selection now coming in from remaining 7. Jesse is what they're going to decide to go with. This can be a pretty tricky brawler to play against if you decide to go with like spawnables or something like that. Particularly Pam can be a troublesome one. And also she'll be able to throw that turret over walls, get some serious damage done. It can also make it really difficult for you to fire around the walls. Barley's going to have no issue dealing with that turret though. Here's the pick from Chazmak into Killer's Stew. We talked about this. What are you thinking, Kenny?
I like the Barley selection. I think it makes a lot of sense. You got to watch out for the stun that Jesse's turret can have, but if he's hiding behind the wall, you can't really shoot him. Of course, there are indestructible walls to take in consideration. If Stu elects to go for that wall break, makes things a little more difficult. I kind of see the vision for both sides, though. This is an instance where I don't think there's a clear-cut winner of the draft. I think it's going to be a lot about how you play it. Jesse came to mind when I threw you that toss. I just think that Jesse is somebody right now that we've seen a bunch in EMEA, clearly a brawler that has kind of escalated in play rate, and Remaining 7, if history serves correct, are a team that don't mind delving into these brawlers that are a little less popular. But I think Jesse's at a moment right now where it's not out of the question to take her, especially with these indestructible walls and what her turret can do.
Yeah, I just wonder whether Remaining 7 were really expecting the Barley here. They are keeping Killer away from Fade, so that's definitely a good shout for now, trying to play the lane versus Toast. But Killer's outranged. Some good shots in from Toast, but they're not going to make contact with Killer. And the point control belongs to ChazMag Gaming for now. Fade's already popped off his first Herbal Tonic, and Zeus taken one out of the East Asia playbook. At least we saw that earlier this weekend. With the Rattled Hive coming in, not going to get any damage there, but it does afford them some area control. A good takedown now with a response from Fade. Last call in, Toast possibly falling to Luffy. A little trade here, but Toast remains alive. RBM also with the takedown, and ChazMag Gaming have lockdown control amid.
That Rattled Hive just deleted the other side. Crazy stuff here, now going for a wall break here as well. Just trying to open up this map. That's something that B won't mind at all. Luffy at least has a little more opportunity to navigate here, slide in his supers, go in and out. Jesse, more of a mid-range brawler, so kind of neutral in that sense, but nonetheless, Barley just sitting back, relaxing, throwing up shots, trying to gain some area control for his teammate. RBM throwing the daggers down, Toast keeping the distance, a little surprise turret coming in there now, and they delete it instantly, so no real value gained there for Remaining 7. All in all, it's still CMG with complete control already.
Certainly is. Remaining 7 could kind of come back, though. The big slow doesn't really do too much with RBM jumping in. Killer taking down the left and a last call down. Luffy dangerously low on health. They'll have some time to heal this up, but they really only have time for one more push as we're crossing that margin of no return. 90% in counting for ChazMag Gaming in A. Remaining 7 try to come in for the final push. Killer falls. Luffy gets one takedown, but that's all he'll get.
On a third here. Obviously, we don't want to speak too soon. Remaining 7, a great team, but it's just so convincing when you see ChazMag Gaming month after month now pile on these big wins, and they did so just now against a very strong squad, the third place team in this region, and they did it in such dominant fashion. Remaining 7 gonna have to really step it up here, find themselves in a better spot, and not let CMG run away with it here early ready.
Well, ChazMag Gaming in A already building this up to nearly 20%. Little response here from Remaining 7. Rattled Hive coming out. Not going to make any contact. Create a little bit of space for them, though. That'll be certainly advantageous. A little slowing action as well into RBM. He's not planning on coming out until someone's kind of low, though. Or at least a tag. Luffy slows him down, and Fade comes down with a hammer. A good takedown there with all the bottles crashing down. Some decent damage from Zeus, too, but he's the last one remaining. He's got to stay alive and healthy to combine with his team and form a new push as they all respawn. Final gadget coming out as well. Another super from Fade to block off the left side. This is so much control coming out from ChazMag. I just don't know where all these supers are coming from for Fade. It seems like he's popping them off left, right, and center.
And Toast hasn't really been missing on this left-hand side either. Fade now in prime positioning. They're going to have to get a Stu wall break if they even want a chance into somebody like Barley. Zeus slides a couple good shots through. It doesn't matter, though. Herbal Tonic, another tag here for Toast. These fellas can do no wrong. 80% now in climbing. Remaining 7 have yet to climb out of spawn.
Remaining 7 pretty much locked into their own spawn, and it looks like B's sort of throwing in the towel now. RBM Fade barely moving. They already know that they have this one locked in, and RBM ends the game midair. A little celebration, but it's not over yet. Or is it? I mean, the mental on the opposing side didn't look too great. CMG locked them into their own spawn for the last half of that last game. Just devastating. I think you saw coming from miles away, but Remaining 7 got caught a little off guard. It's pit stop time. Yet another Barley map that I don't think Remaining 7 will be caught lacking in the ban phase.
Yeah, I think Barley a good shout here again. I think this is a map that both of these teams could very likely just looking to commit to aggression. These are two teams that can rock the tanks. We know what RPM can do, but Remaining 7 have several great brawlers that can absolutely thrive here, especially in a more aggressive setting. Pit Stop is just one of those maps where just about anything goes. You mentioned Barley. There are throwers that can work with here. Dynamite, the highest win rate brawler. That doesn't happen too often, but it makes my heart very happy that good old Michael is on the top of the leaderboards here, and another thrower very similarly there. BB, though, a good shout from the win rates here from our monthly qualifiers across the world. It's somebody that doesn't show up on a lot of maps, but this is certainly one of them.
Yeah, well, she just shows up, swings her bat, and, you know, hangs up the bat, calls it a day. This is a great brawler for a base race. If you know you can out-DPS your opponents, and you also get to smack things back repeatedly. Need a selection on the opposing side, definitely like it, versus the M's could be a little bit more difficult until you get that bear up. That's the thing. As long as you're able to outrange Nia, you can keep her pinned there, but she'll have effectively more range if she's able to get close up to you. That's what the Max is for. I'm not so certain whether I like, though. Like, don't get me wrong, Max, a brawler that I love to watch. You get to accelerate the gameplay quite literally, but Max, she's really fallen off lately. She basically has a pea shooter for her gun, and that speed, while it is still useful, it takes a while to get.
Yeah, I'm with you. I kind of had a puzzled look on my face off screen. Max is somebody that I appreciate seeing as well. Very fun for the game. Historic brawler. And when I think of Brawl Stars, it's one of the first brawlers that I think of, especially for the esport. But it's not nearly as strong as it used to be. This isn't necessarily the game mode that caters to Max as well. Love the Max energy speed that she can bring, but I would much rather go with the approach of high damage, high aggression. So we're going to take a Daryl here, Spike again, one of those very safe approaches. Maybe can use the life plant here to gain some extra HP, but high DPS for all three brawlers here from CMG. So I think they have options, and I don't think Max is necessarily going to be a big factor in terms of high safe damage. I think Max is just kind of there to defend or give that power up to teammates. So Zeus, and if Killer, I'm assuming, plays this brawler, gonna have to really allow for his teammates to thrive. And well, Dynamite is somebody that can do a lot of damage.
It's Michael, by the way. You got to correct earlier, but yeah, I mean, we got to straighten this out, Ken. Yeah, that's Michael right there. Call him by the appropriate name, and he's got some pretty good win right here, so I think he's deserved the respect.
I was hoping me and Michael were on first name basis, so I called him Dynamite. That's my apologies. Did not mean to disrespect the great Michael, but I think this is actually going to be an interesting one, because going into somebody like Spike and Ams, that's great. But if Fade, or presuming RBM ends up playing this brawler, rolls up on you, not a very fun time for Max or Dynamite. So interesting to see how this one plays out. Certainly options for both sides. Excited to see Michael touch down in the field as always, though.
All right, let's see what Luffy's able to accomplish. On the right side, has a pretty decent advantage versus a Spike, able to fire over the walls. No damage just yet onto Toast. He's got some pretty slick dodges on the left side, though. RBM, bit of a whiffed roll, and still be able to recover. In the meantime, though, Killer has farmed up that super. Luffy all the way damage boosted, devastating damage, now connecting with the safe. Only 81% and counting down remain, as the remaining 7 have yet to take their first damage. Toast now approaching the left side. Luffy's kind of thinking about residing at mid, still trying to get some damage in here, making sure that he stays in the mid area in case he needs to play defense. But so far, really good stuff from remaining 7 when it comes to defending RBM. Also, yeah, interesting phase shifter in there. He's going to get some good damage locked in. Fade still staying on top of that safe. But Luffy is really the ticking time bomb for Chazmac Gaming NA. They got to speed up some of this defense or accelerate the offense. And it looks like it might be a little too late. A takedown.
CMG just committed. We said all 3 brawlers are going across, and I think credit to remaining 7 there for playing a successful enough defense, especially against all 3 of these guys from CMG who can dish out an insane amount of high safe damage. I think kudos to them. Stuck to their guns, called their shot, got them a good win here, in large part due to the big shots coming in from Dynamite.
It's so interesting to see the base race emerge so much recently, because it seems like it just sort of started kicking up a lot this month, or maybe a little bit last month. Maybe the impatience meta is what it's all about right now. Luffy's going to get taken down. No more sticks of dynamite on the safe for you. And RBM now has to play tag. Killer trying to catch up. Will be able to get some damage on him, but RBM still locks in a lot along the way. 73% remain on remaining 7 safe. The Killer has the super. Should be a little bit troublesome for Fade. He would rather put it on top of that safe to minimize the damage that it takes as it makes its way to the target. Luffy on the right side also looking for big damage versus Fade. Bit of a misprediction as to where Fade was going to move. And on the left side, this is the one person to defend versus both RBM and Toast. They're going to get to sit right on top of this safe. This is huge for CMG. Look how much damage Toast is able to do as he shreds through the safe.
I can hear Bruce the Bear for a moment there on the other side, I'm pretty sure too. So Killer putting in some serious work. Dynamite is just ever present here, still remaining on the other side. RBM with a little breakaway here. Killer though just committing to damage. 28% though, it's a small lead for CMG. Once again, split cameras here as both sides are dishing out the damage. RBM only needs a few more shots. A shutdown from Zeus though. It's gonna take a lot here, but it could be the possibility. Still alive. And now Toast gonna be creeping up, trying to get those last few percentage points here for CMG.
And he's being real sneaky, but Luffy started to pin him in that corner. Fade now coming around from the left side to pinch him in. Lots and lots of damage on that save, but the final connection
have been unbelievable. And in game number 1, remaining 7, awesome strategy, good engagement with the high safe. I mean, again, Dynamite just sat pretty, trusted the teammates to play defense, and it worked out. Not as much in game number 2. CMG now 1 away from continuing their dominant in a East performance.
So far, so good on the defense for remaining 7. I want to see Zeus get a super to make some real stuff happen. Speed and Killer, maybe get a super off of RBM. He's got to be close to his own super now. Luffy, once again, left to have free reign over the opposing safe. Now the offense in. Fade, RBM, Toast, all making contact with the safe. The destruction of Zeus, and now Killer, the threat, respawning on the right side with the takedown onto RBM. But still, remaining 7 boasts the advantage. Luffy largely left alone on the right side. Now trying to play some footsies, a little ring around the rosy game with Fade here. RBM's going to maybe get the easy kill. Luffy now taking down Killer on the right side with a super in hand, looks to defend against RBM. Might even be able to get another super here. A good takedown from Fade as Chazmat Gaming NA continue to push themselves up the map.
That was a major pickup for RBM. He played into Dynamite very well. That's a matchup that he should, in theory, win just about every time at that range. But Nita, not as easily, especially with the second brawler with the shield available to RBM sliding through as well. Committed to offense, though. Zeus forced to defend. Luffy lobbing up a shot down low. Can't quite do enough. The teammate will be there. Now an opportunity. Remaining 7, still lurking. Killer low HP, regenerating. Luffy engaged on offense, throwing down shots. Super being flashed, waiting to use it though. RBM trying to close the gap. Stun goes down as well. Fade connects, is going to cost him his life though. Close call. 21% now. Remaining 7 have a possibility of continuing this.
Looks unlikely that they'll let Luffy through again. RBM with the super on the right side approaches Killer. Killer tries to throw down the dog, but it's not in enough time. It's an easy takedown for RBM onto the bear. With Luffy on the left side, receiving the speed, he won't be able to do much with it. Zeus also receiving a lot of suppressing fire. Comes rolling from RBM on the right side. Takedown to Killer. RBM, next target, locked. He tries to get on that safe, and even the super, rather the gadget comes in, but he wasn't able to make contact with any targets. This has got to be it though. The game-winning assault from Luffy. Lots of damage coming in. Remaining 7 need to lock it in. Just one more shot from Luffy could do the job if he's able to pop it off, and there it is. Remaining 7 take the set. No more match point for you. We're going to set 4.
All right, let's see what remaining 7 are made of. It's about time that a set went their way. Impressive stuff in set number 3. I think game credit is due for sure. Set number 4, hopping over to Double Swoosh. Very interesting map, especially with Cordelius emerging, Shelly being so strong. There are a couple bans that you oftentimes have to use on those brawlers, and as a result, we get more options that maybe we didn't used to have on this map. What are some of those options you're maybe looking towards, Reddy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely expecting maybe some M's play here. You got to be acknowledging the possibility of Shelly getting banned here. There it is for remaining 7. They get rid of the Shelly. Amber, classic selection on this map. You play her up the bad side, as I've heard a lot of players call it. If you've ever played this map before in your ladder games, you'll know that right side is very difficult to fight. And the same goes for the pro players. Once you lose that right lane, then the mid brawler gets pinched a lot. As they say, win lane, win game, afford some more space for your mid brawler, and Toast is going to be trying to accomplish that with the Amber up the right side most likely. Remaining 7 now trying to think of a way that they can make a deal on this right side without having to utilize those bushes. Cordelius, gravely left open, is maybe going to be a problem for Chazmat Gaming NA.
They're going to take advantage of the situation too, obviously grabbing it for their own. They didn't end up banning it, and CMG and crew didn't end up taking it, so clearly they prioritized the Amber a little bit more. Maybe it's with that first overall selection they weren't willing to make the jump towards Cordelius. I think Cordelius in the Shadow Realm, especially if he's lurking, getting sneaky on this map, can find opportunities to kind of get closer to opponents, because again, he may be really good when he's taking you with his super, but you have to get there somehow. Interesting pairing with this as well. Another appearance of Jesse here. This is a map where I think she can be operated in the mid. I think the Jessie turret can do quite well. I'm kind of curious to see how CMG respond to this, you know, kind of opening to a draft that we're maybe not as used to seeing.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting for remaining 7. Though I do like the Jessie on this map. You can throw down the turret in a couple of really troublesome places. You can put it down at mid, for instance, but really around that indestructible on the right side of the map, it can pretty much guarantee that your opponents almost never come out of the bushes. So it could be a bit troublesome for ChazMag Gaming NA. They're going to have to think about ways that they clip the walls. Buster is an inventive way of dealing with this. I think they'll probably be running that up the left side and trying to snipe some enemy brawlers. Not at long range, but sort of gank them when they least expect it with the use of the gadget, suck them in and get some good value there. Sandy also. Now this is a little interesting. Wonder where they're going to play this. Most likely in the mid, maybe? This is peculiar.
I think Sandy mid as well. I mean, it's something we saw a long time ago be a little more normal. That was back in the blind format days. You know, Rosa coming in as well. Yeah, we are getting some 2021 Brawl Stars vibes. Let's get it. Jessie in the mid, likely for the other side as well. Cordelius, little new flair of the brawler that we've gotten most recently in the game. Rosa's somebody I wouldn't have even thought of, but I think this is actually going to be a pretty solid choice. Sandy, of course, can put the enemies to sleep. You have to be a little careful, but once those resources are kind of used up, I think Rosa might be in the clear here, especially when you cycle in her super. Going against Buster, I'm not too worried about her if she can close that gap. Amber, somebody that can dish out a high amount of damage very quickly, but once she runs out of those shots, and Rosa, of course, being a very healthy, tanky brawler, I actually see where this can kind of work out for remaining 7. It's not the draft I'm expecting, but I am more than welcome to it.
Well, let's hope it pays off for them, because right now they really are backed into a corner by ChazMag. Just 2 losses and they're out. Killer coming in for a lot of damage, but no kills locked in just yet. Luffy also looking for massive value, almost got the takedown to RBM. He's got that super at the ready, and it looks like he might have tried to pop it off versus Toast, but to no avail. Remaining 7 still at sort of a deficit when it comes to control, it looks like. At least numbers, but they're still able to run this down quite a bit. Luffy on the right side has that super preserved. Killer now in with the super. Almost a kill versus Fade. Here it comes, finishing things off. Getting the passive healing from being in the bush. The Sandstorm down as well from Sandy, but it doesn't earn them any control. All 6 of the 7 gems so far inside of remaining 7.
Killer is a real problem on this left-hand side. They put him to sleep, but he's got the super, so the shield remains. Another pickup for him as well. Popping off left-hand side. Surely Toast can get it done. Killer, no, prevails. He does it again. 8 gems now and counting for remaining 7. And even though they have the Sandy coverage from that Sandstorm, I don't think it's going to matter too much. On the right-hand side, Luffy's a threat. On the left, Killer just keeps cycling supers. Remaining 7, looking fierce here. CMG are going to have to find a resurgence if they don't want this set to get carried away from them.
Countdown active only for a moment for remaining 7. Here comes a super in from RBM. Fade trying to encroach on the right side. Toast also trying to approach. Got to be close to that super. Killer now in with the super. Here's a super from Toast. And the Rude Sands revealing the positions of the enemies. RBM taken down, but it's left open for Zeus to grab. Another takedown as well onto the blue gym carrier. And remaining 7 get to protect the gym carrier all the way in the back. Fade has a super to be able to push in just a little bit, reflecting some of the punches back to Killer, but it only lasts for so long as he gets in close quarters. A takedown, 3 seconds left. Luffy trying to defend down to the Shadow Realm for RBM.
Looking like a different team as well. 2 teams that have clearly grown throughout our BSC season. ChazMag Gaming have been the talk of the town, deservingly so. A lot of credit due to them, but remaining 7, putting some respect on their name, putting some respect on this new organization they represent. A Killer going down early makes me nervous for them. A little Shadow Realm dive in for Luffy. Gets the kill here. Now return into action, but Toast can line up these easy shots. Luffy forced away with 10 HP. Doesn't have the range to match, and Fade gonna close that gap. 2-2 overall in the gym count. Close one here as remaining 7 looks to drag us to a 5th.
Root Sands down. Killer taking chip damage. Toast remains alive. Fade tries to approach from the left. Has that rewind, but it's not enough to get Zeus trapped in the gadget. Luffy now from the right, still trying to force things over to the left side. The destruction of all of these bushes at mid is going to be kind of devastating for remaining 7. They still have a lot of speed to work with within these bushes. And on the right side, Fade is gradually trying to push things back. RBM really getting a lot of area control here, but it seems to be running out of ammo. Got to get that next super fired up pretty soon so we can fire the bushes on the right side. Maybe down to the Shadow Realm for someone. Fade now recovers, and Killer still in these bushes on the left side. Pops super, tries to go for Toast, is able to get the kill, but won't make it out alive. It doesn't look like. Still, a double kill is seriously a statement that doesn't get them the advantage over ChazMat Gaming just yet. If anything, a tie once Zeus picks up this next gem.
Killer did more than his job, though. Going in, taking out two brawlers. Now a triple stun going down as well. Shield up for him, too. He's rushing to the other side. Fade can't move a muscle. Toast has to put Killer to sleep. Still throwing down punches. Toast forced up against his spawn side wall. And in the meantime, second time in a row now in a very quick interaction, Zeus can pick up all of these gems that are laying on the ground. Advantage remaining 7 now, and Killer just like that back in action.
Nice gadget there from Fade. It's going to be the last one that he gets, though. He's used all of the other ones already, but he can still sneak up around the right side and catch Luffy off guard. Big damage in. Luffy just barely manages to survive, but he has a super in hand. Could be a big deal. Remaining 7 are all the way forced out of mid. Next gem coming in for Toast. He'll start the countdown with Fade and RBM on the front lines. He's very, very safe, but a super could seriously lock in this win. Killer rushing forward, not going to be able to get too much room. Zeus still looking for damage. Could be a super inside, takedown onto Fade. Luffy needs to pick up this gem, but it's already in the hands of ChazMat Gaming, and no win for remaining 7. Toast safe with all 11 gems.
So far this year in NA, they have not celebrated early. They know they've still got to get the job done against a very solid roster on the other end. They've been putting up a much better fight since early on in this matchup as well. And again, very interesting start here. This time it's going to be Killer right-hand side. Toast low HP, forced to run away. The pulse shot connecting those, so that will force them out of the mid. Zeus creeping forward. Killer finally going down. Luffy with the ability to take him to the Shadow Realm, and exactly what he is going to do here. So it's going to allow for Zeus to 1v1 against Amber. So many kills going down for both sides. They're actually electing to just leave these gyms here in the meantime. Killer dying here. Fade marching up the map, picks up one of his own. Toast now rushing into the gyms as well. That's a stun going down. So much action unfolding here to kick off game number 3. Ultimately, though, it's going to lead into CMG's favor.
Killer on the left side is a known enemy with a known location. Still gonna try and press in versus Toast. Nice use of the stun. Still remains alive. Zeus also, things scouted out on the left, does have some vision. It's not gonna be enough for Killer to stay alive though. Luffy on the right also trying to suppress RBM. Will get some decent damage in here. In fact, locks in the kill. But ChazMat Gaming and A still lead by a decent margin. Here comes the turret, and these are the indestructibles I was talking about pre-game. It's going to be difficult for ChazMat to safely come out of these bushes without taking constant chip damage. Now into the Shadow Realm. Toast and Fade, both right for the picking, but still, only Luffy is able to get the takedown. An easy one for Toast to pick up 2. Fade's able to snipe 1 gem, and maybe another one around the left side. Still, these gems are going to be trading sides that they spawn on. Remaining 7. Seriously at a deficit, however. Another turret coming down. RBM tries to get the pinch. Everyone also caught in this gadget from Killer. He tries to push up, but Toast is just out of range. A takedown, and remaining 7 only managed to get 1 gem out of that encounter.
The pairing of the Jesse bounce shot with the Rosa stun showcased there. CMG still prevail, alive and healthy here. 3 brawlers now standing for the blue side. Killer looking to instigate some aggression. Zeus gonna pick up this gym count for now. Needs to be careful. 3 brawlers rushing him, throwing down the rubber duck as a saving grace here. Luffy there to the rescue, dragging him to the Shadow Realm. Another one going down as well. 9 seconds to go. CMG desperately need a kill. Fade trying to march up the map. Can't get there. Luffy with the stop. Remaining 7. Drag us to a set 5.
1, 2, 3, 4. How many match points is it going to take for CMG to close this one out? An answer that we'll be receiving very, very soon as we head into the last possible set, if they're even able to all. We'll be heading into the final map, Bell's Rock.
Knockout, a punishing 5th map. Real opportunity for some teams to have some very pleasant memories or some very unpleasant memories here on this map. Again, you get 1 life every single round. You make it count. If you go down early, the enemy team automatic advantage. If you feed supers too early, automatic advantage for the other team. A very calculated game mode, especially for 2 teams that we view as more aggressive. I'm curious to see if their draft caters to that, or if both sides just end up playing it safe, go with those throwers, maybe the little long range, medium range kinds of brawlers here. I think the bans are very interesting to see go through as well. Clearly remaining 7 want no part of the throwers and Squeak, who can be very pesky on this map. On the other side though, no Sam, a duplicate ban in the Squeak, and Brock, a very standard brawler that could show up here. Gray, the overall first selection, and as our win rates come out too, B comes comes to mind. Shelly comes to mind. I mean, Fang with a very high win rate. I will say, though, if I had to take an educated guess, his sample size probably not as high as those other two. I think Fang can work, but more circumstantial in my mind.
No doubt. I mean, really, when you see some of these brawlers as a last pick, like if you see Fang as a last pick, it's probably going to be in a situation where they know it's the win condition, right? Because Fang, when he's not really viable, he's seriously not viable. Not an incredibly difficult brawler to counter when it comes to drafting, especially when it comes to the pro leagues like this. But the selection now from remaining 7, RT, no real complaints here. Just a pretty safe selection that'll be resilient in close range. Pretty good at putting up versus Gray if he decides to TP in. Gene, also one of those that can deal with Gray as long as he has that lamp blow at the ready. And I think another thing that this affords for them is the last pick of a thrower. I think that Grum is very, very viable here, and Chazmat Gaming are going to have to now draft around that possibility.
Bonnie now touching down as well. Bonnie's somebody we haven't seen as much, it feels like, today as we normally do. Certainly has been excelling in the play rates here recently. Oh, and if Shelly's left open, Shelly's gonna touch down as well. Oh, this is shaping up to be very spicy. I mean, Shelly as a 5th selection here for Chazmat Gaming, certainly a bargain given how good this brawler is in the current meta. She has the long range gadget as well, so she can keep the distance with somebody like RT in short spurts. Gene, of course, has the pool as an option. Would have been awesome to pair that Gene pool with the shotgun brawler. Not gonna happen this time. Lola, the final selection for remaining 7. I have mixed feelings about both these drafts. To me, it doesn't feel like one side necessarily ran away with it, but love seeing Shelly. I mean, if you're going to put your faith in one brawler in a 5th and final set, makes a lot of sense for me to do it with that brawler in the current state of the game.
Yeah, I'm looking at Lola, especially because I think she'll be able to lane effectively versus virtually every single one of these brawlers. The only one that might be able to do some stuff to her in close range is Bonnie, because she unloads a ton of DPS in a short period of time. And Lola, while she does get good DPS, her speed of unloading that damage is notably less than Bonnie when she's out of that cannon. So we'll see how that interaction goes. But for now, I'm actually looking at remaining 7 to having a pretty good draft here. I know that RBM will get some crazy things done here with the Shelly, though. So we'll see what he's able to accomplish. Just has to dodge out these shots. He has that very fast speed to work with, so it'll be a huge advantage for him. Also got to note Fade has those canes to work with, has that gadget at the ready if he needs to.
Who's popping a gadget there as well. Really trying to make CMG feel the hurt here early. Has a super charged up with those indestructible walls. Can be a serious threat as the match starts to close out, as the round gets closer and closer to the incoming fog. Killer, Luffy, both trying to charge ones up of their own. Of course, Killer, if he gets a magic hand, can make a pull, but onto a shotgun brawler, not the most fun. Onto Toast, who has a lot of HP, not the most fun. Fade, if he has a teleport, can get away. That might be their best bet, but he's even got a shield gear on. No easy pickings here for either side.
So far, not a whole lot of action on either side. No kills just yet. Could see the first one coming in quite soon, though. Killer taking a lot of damage. Here's the pull. It's a great one, too. RBM looks for a final kill. No, gonna hang on to that super. Luffy staying dangerously close to the poison. Zeus comes in around the right for a pinch. And remaining 7 take the very first round.
Getting closer and closer to making a dream a reality. Chazmat Gaming started off 2-0 here. Remaining 7 in very close fashion. 2 straight sets claw their way back into it. But right now, certainly facing some adversity. A dive in from Toast, a shotgun blast from RBM, a complete sweep of the left-hand side, and they leave Zeus all by his lonesome. His name may say CMG on screen, but he is certainly not on this enemy team's side. Gonna just do a little jogging for now, but ultimately it's going to be Fade, Toast, and RBM who will prevail in this spot with just another shot.
Yeah, sometimes you got to throw CMG in your name. You got to keep your friends closer and your enemies closer, and maybe try and get in your enemy's head, see what they're thinking. But it didn't seem to pose any advantage in that last round as it goes to Chazmat Gaming in A, and it all comes down to round 3 to determine the outcome of this game. Either way, someone's going to a match point, and it just might be remaining 7. Already takedown of RBM, a great pull. Now the commitment from Toast in onto Zeus, but the takedown's good for Luffy. And Fade is the last remaining member of this roster. Got to protect the president here, and that means protect the base of Zeus, as he really wants to get back into his longer range form. Fade also has that teleport through, but all the health is regen. He doesn't have a whole lot of DPS to work with, and it's going to be tough. It might even be a lost battle, but he's still going to give it his all.
Have to give it your all in this spot. No extra round here until the next game, so Fade going to be giving it his best. He's a single shot brawler going into very healthy Zeus, into Luffy, who can bring in an extra spawner and the teleports.
Team and CMG are fantastic too, but they had a hard bracket today. We'll see if they're able to cap it off with a bang. Remaining 7, just 1 game away from sweet victory and maybe getting to exhale for the first time in this entire match.
Killer falling low HP here very early. The Sniper Shelly being unleashed here too. Immediate pickup, making a second for CMG. No games being played. This team is now fighting a very desperate spot. They've had multiple match points to close out, but remaining 7 Premier are still alive and well. 1 round for now though. Going to Chasma Gaming's side. They need to make it another if they want to drag this to double match point.
They've really teed things up well. First, they denied the super to Killer. Now they've taken him down early, and it's just Luffy and Zeus left, but not for long. Early kill onto Luffy, and Zeus is sent packing just like that, going to double match point.
Time to get...
The stakes have never been higher. This month matters more than any other month we've had up into the point this year. Tribe Gaming eliminated by CMG. CMG with an opportunity to take a 3rd straight monthly finals. Who would have thought remaining 7 Premier would be that opponent that they're faced? Double match point now, both sides looking to come away with it here.
Very, very dangerous. Chasma Gaming and Ace seem to have some tricks up their sleeve. They make the lane switch of RBM over to the left side. Toast now trying to pressure things in from the right. Zeus almost forced into that pin of fences. RBM looking to approach from the left. RBM takes serious damage, but he's still able to get away alive and walk away with a kill on Zeus. 2v3 ensues with Luffy and Killer as the main characters. They need their supers for the next round as they're pretty outmatched here. They could just be left with 1 round left. Permanent deaths to try and win this grand final. Killer and Luffy still just looking for these supers. Remaining 7 want those, but Chasmat Gaming want and need them too. So who will be walking away with the supers and who will be left empty-handed?
RBM going to be closing the gap here. 2 supers suddenly appearing there. None for Killer. Lola gets one of her own though, and just going to take it to the fog here. 1 more round away, and CMG, all of the hard work that remaining 7 Premier have put in here could be for nothing. The current kings of North America East, 1 round away from finishing the job. R7, though, starting out way more aggressive. Pool going down as well. Instant kill. RBM releasing the shotgun. All the action unfolding here. RBM holding on to another super of his own, but the range of Luffy too strong. 1-1 overall. 1 round to decide it all.
Killer now desperately left without that super that was the win condition in the previous round. He needs it now. And RBM's holding on to that super. Fade also has the teleport. It's a dangerous game for both teams. Once Killer gets a super, if he manages to get it, that could be the game decided there. Luffy now with the ego down on the right side. Fade, RBM still alive and healthy on the left with 2 supers at their disposal. Toast also hanging on to that last gadget. It all comes down to this round. Each team with 3 members remaining, and Gene has the super at the ready.
Scary stuff for both sides. No mistakes can be afforded here. Killer with the magic hand. Zeus can deploy the legs if needed. Toast with a sugar rush on the right-hand side. Isolation play. And diving from Toast at the perfect time. Shut down immediately. Buck blast going down for RBM. Low HP for Killer. Trying to take shield from Zeus and Luffy, who are body blocking here. Fade super available. RBM keeping the distance as well. 3v2 situation. The reverse sweep attempted right now from remaining 7. They've drug it all the way here. Shots going down. 2v2 situation. RBM. Big blast going down. Low HP for Gene. Fade being pushed away. The pull through. Remaining 7. Reverse sweep inbounds. The fight for the throne of NA East continues, and we will have a new one for this month.
And just like that, they are your monthly finals champions here in NA East. What a journey for remaining 7. And like we said, finally get to exhale after such a tough match. Yeah, go and take a lap around the house. And tragedy begins to set in. If not the first stages of grief, perhaps denial for CMG, as they came so close. Victory just within their grasp several times.